Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm like, what day of the week is it? I'm Colleen Suchecki, and I'm an intuitive healer, and I help people, spiritual women, break free from past trauma so they can show up authentically, live their truth, and create a life that they love and shine their light out into the world. And I'm really excited to be talking with you this morning. It's a topic that is near and dear to my heart. So if you're coming on here, please say hello, and please know that if you share this video all this week, anyone who shares my video, your name is going to go into a drawing to win a free 15-minute angel card reading with me. I will be picking the winner tomorrow. So if you are on now, please say hello, and I always appreciate you sharing. So, all right, so hi, Erin. So here's the topic. So here is what I want you to do. And I'm just sharing this super quickly to my page so some people can jump on. Okay, all right. So let me know if this resonates with you. This is who I'm talking to right now. If you are constantly in a state of doing, so just put a 1 if this resonates with you and you feel like I'm describing you, put a 1 here. Thank you so much for sharing, Erin. Hi, Prudence. So if you are constantly in a state of doing, hi, Kimmy. If you're in a state of, if you catch yourself trying to force things, trying to effort things forward, trying to push, if you feel like you're burned out, if you feel exhausted, if you feel like you're trying to will your way forward in your life, in your business, with your health, with your career, it doesn't really matter. It can play out in all areas of your life. But if you've noticed, if you've caught yourself just constantly doing, and always having this long list of to-dos to do. If you have noticed yourself really like trying to make things happen, you're like, I'm just going to force it. I'm going to push it. Have you caught yourself controlling when, of course, you don't want to control and you're like you're an aware person, but you catch yourself trying to make something, trying to control something, either another person or a situation. So put a 1 if this is speaking to you. Yes, give me 100%. Prudence 1. Yes. Okay, great. Okay. If you have this desire to meditate and you're like, I know that meditation is going to be so helpful for me if I could just find the time to do it. If that resonates with you, if that's you, put a 1 in there. Okay, so I have a really powerful shift here for you, an opportunity for you. And what is happening here? Okay, so I have been talking to a lot of spiritual women lately, and this has been coming up as a theme. And so whenever I notice that happen, I say, okay, I need to talk about this. So here's what's going on, is that we as women have gotten messages, either directly or indirectly, around that we have to be masculine. We have to be in our masculine energy, all right? And here's the thing, is that no matter what gender you are, everyone has feminine and masculine energy. And as a woman, in general, your true essence is typically more of the feminine energy, okay? And when you are trying to operate in your masculine, the majority of the time, you end up with what I just described. You're constantly doing, you're exhausted, you're trying to control, manipulate, and you're really not getting anywhere. With all this energy and effort, you're really like, you sit back and you think like, why are things not happening? Like, what the hell is going on here? If that relates to you, give me some hearts or thumbs or whatever. Because and I'm going to share a story with you in a minute, but here's the shift that needs to happen, is that you're in your masculine energy. You are trying to use the masculine or be in the masculine, you've been in the masculine energy the majority of the time, but you try to do masculine things to get things right. Exactly. Right. And so we've had all of these messages from our family, from society, from watching the people that we love model this for us. We have all of these things that come in through, filter in through our mind, and then we start to show up in the way without even realizing it. And so we've had these messages of like, you have to be masculine. And I remember seeing a post on Facebook about like, you know, the feminist movement and how, you know, we don't want to be like men because we're not men. And I think that's so, so powerful. So if we can stop trying to be something we're not, which is what is happening, we're trying to be this masculine energy and be in that energy, which is the majority of the time we're trying to use that. It's almost like that's the fuel we're trying to use to move forward in the world. And that fuel is not working. It's not going to get you to where you need to go. It's not saying that you don't ever need to be in your masculine energy and doing things. That's not what I'm saying at all. And I'm not saying the masculine is bad. I'm saying that if your true essence is the feminine energy and you've been stuffing that down, you've been denying yourself that, maybe you thought the feminine is weak or submissive, then you have not been in your feminine energy. And so here's what happened. I was talking to a client recently. Let's call her Sue, okay? And we were noticing this exact same thing. She has her own business, very successful, but she's been doing it for all these years from her masculine energy, and she is burnt out. She's like, I need a vacation that lasts like 2 years long. All right. If you can relate to that, give me some hearts or thumbs up here, likes. So as we dug deeper, and so this is what I share. I'm like, you've been in your masculine energy, and that's been the gasoline. That's been the fuel you've been trying to use to get yourself forward. And you've reached a point in your evolution, in your growth, where your soul is saying, I don't want to use that fuel anymore, if that makes any sense. And so what the shift that she needed to make, and what I see so many women, including myself, this is something that I've been working on shifting as well, is to go into the feminine energy fuel. Now, the feminine is all about allowing, being, receiving, surrendering, trusting, that energy. When we use that fuel to move us forward, we become a magnet instead of trying to chase things. Okay, does that make sense? And so when I was talking to my client and going deeper, what we ended up discovering is that typically there is one, either our mother or our father, where we want their attention, we want their love, and so we will do anything to have their attention and love. And so when I was asking my client, she was saying, you know what, my dad, like I always craved my dad's love and attention. And so it was like, okay, great. And so I asked her, who did you need to be for your dad in order for him to give you that love and attention? And it was like a light bulb went off, and she needed to be masculine. She needed to be in her masculine energy. And I asked her, I said, did you have any brothers? And she said, well, I had one brother. And I said, was he like a masculine energy type of guy? And she's like, no. And she goes, my dad really never paid attention to him. And so she stepped up subconsciously. It was like she made the decision, in order to receive the love and attention from my father, I have got to be masculine, and I've got to be in the masculine energy. And that is how I receive love. And so and I'm sharing this with you because these things go deep. We make these decisions at a very young age. And other clients I've worked with have gone into their masculine because they saw the feminine in the feminine be weak, be dominated, be submissive, be like just letting life pass you by. So they have this negative association with the feminine because they saw that modeled usually from their mother. And then they go into a place where I don't want to be like that. So I'm going to go in this opposite direction where I'm going to be masculine. And I'm sharing all of this with you because these are the deeper things that need to shift underneath the surface. So if you have been in your masculine, if you've been in a place of trying to effort and control and make things happen and will things happen, and you just are exhausted and burned out and would like to learn a new way of being, put a 2 in the comments. Like if you are ready to allow and step into and cultivate your feminine energy, put a 2 in the comments. Because here's what I'm finding is that when you're in your masculine, you are not shining your light out into the world. It's being blocked by the masculine. Okay, if that makes any sense. But when you start to let those things go and only be in the masculine when it's absolutely, you're getting goosebumps from that story. Oh, wow, Prudence, great. What resonated most for you? I would love to hear that. So when you're in your true essence, if the feminine energy is your true essence, and when you drop into that and you cultivate that and you consciously shift out of always being in the masculine, that is when your light shines out into the world. That is when you soften, because when you're in the masculine, it's a very hardened energy. It's like the masculine is all about protection, right? And so I know personally, I've used the masculine to protect myself for most of my life. And it hasn't been until, recently in my healing where I've really started to soften and really started to go into my feminine and invite my feminine energy in. But the key to be able to do that is to understand what needs to shift within you. Understanding when did you make that decision? How old were you? Why did you make that decision to go into the masculine? I found is an important part of being able to shift into the feminine. To be able to understand and have the awareness of, why did I make this choice to go into this? Like, what was really happening beneath the surface? And what are some of the negative associations that I have with being feminine that almost like need to be cleared from your energy? So if this is sounding interesting to you, this is exactly what I do when I work with private clients. And I have various different ways in which people can work with me right now. I have a retreat in May, which is all about shining your light, all about being in your feminine energy and clearing out anything that is holding you back. And of course, I also can have private opportunities to work with me. So if you're interested in learning more, if you're interested in going deeper and being able to see what was the experience, or what was the situation where you made a decision about going into your masculine, and what do you need to release? What do you need to heal, break free from? What do you need to shift? If this is something that you are interested in learning more about, put a 2 in the comments and I will reach out to you and we can have a conversation and see, are we a good fit to do some work together and what that might look like. Prudence says, totally, but I'm a masculine, constantly do not want to. Yes, totally. Prudence, I have had so many people say that. Like, I do not want to end up like my mother. I do not want to end up like this other, person, this other feminine figure in my life. And here's the thing, is that there is an empowered feminine and there's a wounded feminine, okay? So what you may be, your mother and your mother-in-law, of course, I don't know them at all, but I'm just saying there's a possibility that they may be in their wounded feminine. They may not be in their empowered feminine. And you can have the same thing with the masculine as well. You can be in your empowered masculine, or you can be in your wounded masculine. And so I think that's what's important to realize, is that when we have these negative associations with the feminine, it's typically because we saw something modeled where we saw someone who was not in their power as a woman. And we maybe even had experiences around that and wanting to deny our femininity because maybe there was some type of abuse or something happened or an attack, or, you know, like it could be so many different things that are possible where we want to deny our femininity because we think it's bad, because we think it's associated with trauma, with a lack of power. But the beauty in all of this is really, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to really go deeper within ourselves and see what are the beliefs that we've created that are not at all serving you and not at all gonna help you to create what you really want. Because again, if the feminine is your true essence and you've been denying it, your life is going to be really effing hard, and you're not going to get where you want to go, and you're going to be struggling. It's going to be like suffering. But it's when we go in, it's when we clear out, and when we clean out the belief systems, and when we clean out the past experiences of our past, and are able to see what is really true for us and how can we be in our power and be in our feminine energy. That is like when we become a magnet. That is when opportunities are, you're like drawn to, opportunities are drawn to you. They come out of nowhere, seemingly out of nowhere. So if this is something, again, that you would like to go deeper on, if I am speaking to your soul here, I may be able to help you be able to do that. So you can put a 2 in the comments if you would like to connect deeper and see how you can release and break free from some of this wounded feminine energy or past experiences that have caused you to have a negative association with your feminine energy. And yes, and so please, you know, if anyone else has any other, you know, anything else that came up from watching this video, what got stirred within you from listening to the story or from what I'm sharing with you, I would love to hear it in the comments below. And I am so excited. I appreciate you all so much for being here and watching. Whether you're watching now or watching the replay later on, I will talk to you all soon. Take care.